Hey Siren Body Jewelry fans, Valerie here. Just a quick tip. When switching from a straight barbell to a hoop, depending on the piercing, usually the diameter is equal to the length that you were wearing, as long as it was properly sized. So for example, if you had your daith pierced with captive bead ring, and say it was 16 gauge 3/8 of an inch. If you're well healed, maybe 6 months in or a year, you could definitely go with a 16 gauge curved barbell in 3/8, or if your daith is a little bit thinner, go for the 5/16. I would say that the most common curved barbell length and gauge for a daith across the board is 16 gauge 5/16, unless your piercer decided to pierce you with a 14 gauge and you want to stick with that thicker gauge, then it would be 14 gauge 5/16. Now, there are so many variables when it comes to sizing. You definitely want to make sure that you know the thickness or the gauge of your jewelry when shopping, unless you're not too concerned about purchasing a smaller or thinner gauge like 16. Just a helpful tip, because being aware of sizing when you're purchasing body jewelry is important, and it's more important when you aren't sure of the difference between 14 and 16. 14 gauge is thicker than 16 gauge, and 18 gauge is smaller than 16 gauge. It goes 18 gauge, 16 gauge, 14 gauge, 12 gauge, 10 gauge. Small to big. 18 gauge, 16, 14, 12, 10. That sizing applies to stretching your ears too. So just a helpful quick tip. I helped somebody over the phone and gave her a call because she was not sure how to know what length to use in her daith piercing, in which she had a 16 gauge captive bead ring in it. So quick tip of the day from sirenbodyjewelry.com. Have a good night. Stay tuned for more quick tips as they come in. Thanks for watching. Bye.